Hi guys, happy Monday, and if you see me fidgeting, it's because I have a special guest with me. I have Link. Hi Linky. Oh, freaky. He doesn't like being dangled. And then, woohoo, honey. Wow. We didn't do Link on Feedback Friday for obvious reasons. Maybe if I hold you like a baby, you'll be better. Link does not like being dangled. It's okay, sweetie. It's okay. It's okay, yeah. So, is not so much hanging up to the camera. You see, it is impossible to make Link do something he doesn't want to do. And dangling is, come on, Link, just say hi. There he does, your kitty face. Oh, he does really not want to be here. Oh, he wants to popple in my lap. Okay. Yeah, he doesn't like being lifted. That's why I didn't include him in Feedback Friday. Oh, sorry, buddy, you're drooling on me. Okay. But, yeah, I promised I'd show you Linky so he can take his little star turn as Princess Link, right? I'm going to try one more time, okay, buddy? There we go. There he is. Why do you look mad? There he is. There we go. Yeah, that's better, huh? Okay, you're done. You're done. But there's Link. He took the role of princess because Zelda was like, no. You guys saw the video. But that's not what I'm talking about today. It is a holiday up here, so I almost didn't do a video. And I'm like, I missed so much content doing lady bits that I better do a video. But it is Simcoe Day here, which is our August long weekend. Oh, now he's yelling. To complement our July long weekend, which is Canada Day, and our September long weekend, which is Labor Day. What is making so much noise? Meow. Okay. But today I am talking about the fact that this time of year I have to stop reading opinion op-eds about anything political or any social commentary involving video games because it gets really annoying. Now, video game coverage at this time of year was always kind of annoying because it's pre-Christmas release and it's summer, so there's no games out, and so there tends to be shenanigans. But it's been worse since 2014, 2015, because of the word you cannot put in your video title on YouTube unless you want like instant demonetization, the dreaded Gamergate. And every year around this time, it started early this year, but every year around this time, you see articles about the rise of the alt-right and gaming and all that stuff, angry young men, and it references Gamergate. And over the weekend, I was reading this article I found very interesting, and then they decided to pull out of the drawer that old bit of BS about how Gamergate led to the rise of the alt-right. And as somebody who took it from both sides, I almost said from both ends, make that dirty, during the Gamergate controversy, there were a handful of people who, prominent alt-right names that were involved. And yes, the involvement of Breitbart was undeniable, but to say that Gamergate created the alt-right or led to the rise of the alt-right, I think it was more a practice ground. I think it was more testing out messages, seeing how they could influence people, how they could persuade people to messages that perhaps they were open to, perhaps they otherwise wouldn't be open to. But this idea that a testing ground created a phenomenon instead of a phenomenon using a testing ground, it's ridiculous that the thing they tested out their message on in terms of the alt-right and the hard left. I mean, let's be real here. A culture war takes two sides, at least two sides. There's multiple sides now. But this idea that it was somehow created, or that gamers are somehow uniquely bad or uniquely right-wing, it drives me crazy. And every time I see it, I'm like, this article has just become significantly less persuasive because I know that's wrong. So if that's wrong, what else in this article is wrong? And I kind of lose my interest in it, stop reading. I'm like, I can't share this because people will get upset. Because even reading the word Gamergate triggers some people. And that's why I wish they wouldn't do it. All it does is upsets people. Gamergate was not that important. I completely understand why people mark the Charlottesville protests and counter protests and all that stuff because a woman died. I completely understand that. That is serious, right? That I get. That was serious. People really got hurt. The only thing for the most part, that really got hurt during Gamergate was some feelings and my career for gaming websites. And the fact that people are still holding grudges this long after the fact, if you consider it a year-long phenomenon, so it sort of petered out after 2015, maybe 2016. It's 2018 right now. My God, has there been nothing that has been a vessel for people's righteous fury since 2015 for them to pour their angst into? It's getting really ridiculous that I even see that referenced at all. It was a fight over how to write about video games, which for people who cover video games is very important, but to the rest of the world, but it's that sexism angle and that racism angle. And this is one of those things that I have a unique perspective on because I took it all over the place. I was called racist and transphobic by the anti-Gamergate types, and that's just the short list. I was called a lot of things there. But then I was a fake Jew and, all the woman-related slurs from the other side. And the thing is, the people who were flinging that stuff were actually the minority, and the majority of people actually wanted to have a serious discussion about the issues surrounding Gamergate, and they're brought up because of the Gamergate controversy. And the fact that we couldn't have that discussion, and we still haven't had that discussion in a mature way, means we're due for another one in a couple of years. There seem to be these cycles in gaming that every 3 to 5 years there's a big scandal of this sort, be it Retake Mass Effect or Gertzmangate or Dorito Pope or something like that. But at some point, we are actually just going to have to roll up our sleeves and figure out how to deal with things. And the funny thing is because I didn't word write, I didn't woman write during that. And I actually talked to people who said mean things about me, and separated them from the people who were legitimately being bigoted, as opposed to people who were speaking in anger and kind of mimicking the zeitgeist that was going on Twitter at the time. I am not seen as an expert on how to handle heated disagreements like that, which is weird because I never use a block list. I didn't shut anybody down. I talked to people from both sides. Unfortunately, the anti-Gamergate side, which is predominantly left, blocked me because I followed a few people from the pro-Gamergate side to partially to talk in direct messages so that we could have a discussion without a bazillion people jumping in, because they were a lot more civil, but also just because I want to see the opinions of people I disagree with that I still think are smart. And this was my whole issue with it, and this is my issue with Politics Now as well. And so I'm going to pivot to that because I don't like talking about this. And I know you guys don't like listening to it. But there was this idea that you had to pick a side. There was no such thing as neutrality. Neutrality was weakness. Neutrality was evil. Neutrality was just you didn't want to admit you backed a side. And if you don't back a side, both sides attack you because you have no mob behind you who then retaliates and fights the other side. And the Twitter left, the Tumblr left, as opposed to the mainstream left. And this thing called the alt-right can't exist without each other. Because if the alt-right just shouted into this void and everybody else went, okay, you have the right to freedom of speech, I'm going to go over here where I don't have to hear you, then they wouldn't have become this boogeyman, or as some people say, bogeyman, that, we have to stand up to. Stand up to what? A relatively small minority that some people see as the better option because all choices suck. And I absolutely do not agree that they're the better option, but we still live in a time, again, where people are getting fired from their jobs over tweets. People are organizing campaigns to get people fired over old tweets. And I watch, the James Gunn thing happen. And I watch the Roseanne controversy, which I admit I still don't know how to totally feel about. And then I see the thing with that editorial board or the board of governors or whatever, the New York Times. She made some racist tweets against white people back in the day, and I read her explanation, and she does not condone them. I really think it's important to reward people for getting better. I admit I'm concerned that the New York Times would hire someone with those sentiments, but she claims she doesn't really believe it. It was just counter-trolling, which, because of Gamergate, I totally believe. I watch people do that every single freaking day. So, fine. I can't disprove the response, so I might as well believe her. The Roseanne thing was more complicated because it was both a period of a pattern of behavior and more recent. And the fact that she was a sitcom. The James Gunn thing just annoyed me because he did those tweets before he started making the movie. Disney had to know about them if they did due diligence. He behaved himself while he was director of the film. I suspect the only reason that they caved and fired him was because they've got that big merger with the Fox properties before the government right now, and that's more important to them. And I hate being that cynical, but I do get really cynical when people are fired for old tweets. Current tweets are something of a different story. Why? They're current. They reflect a person's opinion at the time. But still, I think you need a pretty high bar for firing some over tweets, with the caveat that people can hire and fire anyone they want. But the fact that this is news, the fact that there are headlines all over the place of people getting in trouble at work for tweets, it just feels like thought crimes to me. And it just feels like an overall lowering of the discourse. And people aren't at their best when they're afraid. People aren't at their best when they're afraid for their job. They're not at their best when they're, in panic mode. Calm, rational decisions are made when you're calm. The reason that calm and rational go together is because they do. And I am really concerned that the people who get paid to set the public discourse are succumbing to this blend of panic and virtue signaling, and they're all doing it. But it's not just about filling content anymore. I read these pieces and they believe it. They actually believe that there's like an existential threat to the Republic because people are shitposting online. And there are much bigger problems in the world. And there are much better things to write about regarding video games and make videos about involving video games. I dressed up like a female Bowser and a female Mario and freaked everybody out because it was kind of cool. Like, that's a much better use of time as far as I'm concerned. So the fact that this is happening over and over and over and over again, there's no grown-up in this proverbial room. And so I just stopped reading it. I read fiction, though I don't read a lot of fiction nowadays. I play video games. I read biographies, history books, like science books. I've been reading the Economist more and more. I love the Economist. I think I'm going to go back to the paper version. I tried it on the iPad. It's not as easy for me to just browse. But yeah, I love the Economist because they don't do that. They have a very specific editorial voice, and they stick to that. And it's not this weird cacophony of different styles and different voices that, you know, New York Times has. Different thing, but I find the New York Times thinner and thinner when it comes to the quality of their content. And I mean, I try to read on the weekends. You know, they have that article, that thing, the best reads this week, and I read it. There was an interesting piece on Spike Lee this week, but most of them are like, that wasn't so great. You know, I don't get it. And maybe I'm just out of touch. Maybe I'm just so much of a contrarian that none of that appeals to me. But I really like The Economist. So, and I like some of the Times reporting on other stuff. But the op-ed just seems increasingly bonkers and increasingly extreme for the sake of being extreme. And an op-ed shouldn't make me feel dumber after reading it. It should challenge me in a good way and make me feel like, I've got something to ponder now. Like that person that asked me about bugs and agency. And I'm still mulling over that. Thank you for that. I like thinky things. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And I'm sure you guys are at that too. So the month of August, so you know, I am going to sort of assiduously avoid drama. I am going to make a video later in the week about what you can kind of expect on this channel moving forward, just because we're 2 episodes to go formally, plus the backer episode. Did I patron? Oh God, I don't remember. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/Leanna K. If you become a monthly patron, you will get access to the backers only episode. Yeah, it's gonna sort of alter the schedule a bit, just because I want to get them done. I just want to get them written and I want to get them shot. And, wrap it up, everything like that. Start kind of, the fall with the new stuff, because the next project's the boot camp. Woohoo! Looking forward to that. And then there's another thing that I haven't told you guys about. I've told the patrons about, but I haven't told you guys about, that I'm very excited to get to work on. So I want to get this done so I can work on the other thing. So that will be coming up, and then I'll do something a bit more fun somehow. I don't know. A lot of drama has been happening lately, and I've been... Are you bored of drama? Do you like drama? Drama videos do really well, but they feel icky to me. What is your opinion on drama? And by drama, I mean stuff that's sort of personality politics. Somebody said something that people got upset about, as opposed to an actual examination of an issue. The traffic on those videos is always huge, but I feel gross doing too many of them. So let me know, what is your opinion of YouTube drama? Okay? Thanks. I'm looking forward to your answers. Thanks for watching.